If there is one place in North America that truly feels like a little slice of Europe, it is Quebec City. French explorer Samuel De Champlain established the first European settlement in Old Quebec in the 17th century, and it has held onto its strong French traditions and heritage, making it one of the best places to visit in Canada. Be it winter or summer, there are many things to do in Quebec City to enchant and delight any travel lover. This city is rich with history and culture, adventure, and fun. So here is the list of the 15 best things to do in Quebec City. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for the latest upcoming travel videos. Here we go. Number 1. The Citadel of Quebec. Quebec City's Citadel is the largest British-built fortress in North America. It took 30 years to construct. This military site has been active since 1850, when it housed British troops and the British artillery. Today, the Citadel is occupied by the only Francophone infantry contingent of the regular Canadian Armed Forces, the Royal 22e Regiment, who have called this structure home since 1920. You can learn more about the Canadian Armed Forces at the on-site museum, which contains a notable collection of military artifacts. And if you visit around 10 a.m. between the end of June and the first Monday of September, you can witness the Royal 22e Regiment Band. Number 2. Old Quebec. The most stunning part of Quebec City is without a doubt the Old Quebec quarters, and you can easily spend days walking around its narrow, cobblestone streets. Old Quebec is the centerpiece of the city's UNESCO World Heritage Site designation, and no matter what you are planning when thinking of things to do in Quebec City, you need to make this area a focal point. By far the best way to explore Old Quebec is on foot. Set aside at least a day to wander aimlessly through Old Quebec, allowing yourself to be amazed by the stunning architecture, delicious cafes, funky bars, and curious shops. Book a guided walking tour of the Old Quebec City to learn all the interesting history and fun facts about Place Royale and the rest of the area from a local. Number 3. Fairmont Le Château Frontenac. Some say Château Frontenac is the most photographed hotel in the world, and for good reason. The giant Fairmont Hotel Château Frontenac was built by the Canadian National Railway in 1893 to encourage luxury travel on its trains, and its design took inspiration from old French castles. Le Château Frontenac sits inside the walls of the old city and overlooks the St. Lawrence River. Although the Château Frontenac has modern conveniences, old-world glamour can be found at every turn with period pieces against a mahogany backdrop. If you are not staying at the Château Frontenac, take a tour to walk the halls of Canada's most historic hotel. Learn of the famous people that have graced its halls and learn about its history. Number 4. Terres Dufferin. Overlooking Old Quebec from its perch just below the Fairmont Le Château Frontenac, Terres Dufferin offers spectacular views of the St. Lawrence River. Formerly a military fortification, this public boardwalk still houses historic cannons. The atmosphere has changed dramatically since Terres Dufferin's original construction in 1838. Today, especially if you visit during the summer, you're bound to run into street performers and artists as you stroll along. Previous visitors also recommended spending some time here during the winter, when there's an ice toboggan to ride. To learn about the history of Terres Dufferin, consider tagging along on a guided tour. Number 5. Cartier Petit Champlain. One of the most beautiful parts of Old Quebec is the Cartier Petit Champlain, found at the bottom of the cable car beneath the Dufferin Terrace. This is Quebec City's premier tourist shopping district, and if you're looking for boutique souvenirs, this is the place to find them. The restaurants around here are also incredible, and if you can get past the touristy atmosphere of the place, it's a great spot to bring your friends or family for a meal and drink during your visit of what to do in Old Quebec City. Don't miss out on the magnificent artists that line the street as well, selling hand-painted works and plenty of handicrafts. It's a highlight of Old Quebec City. Number 6. Morenci Falls. Sitting about 9 miles northeast of Old Quebec along the St. Lawrence River, Morenci Falls Park attracts nature lovers and sightseers alike with its 272-foot waterfall. If you can't imagine that, Morenci Falls is 1.5 times taller than Niagara Falls. Although warmer summertime temperatures make a Morenci visit much more comfortable, some travelers recommend stopping by in the winter to take in the natural beauty without the crowds. There are a variety of activities at the park, including hiking trails, playgrounds, bike paths, and a double zip line. From the top of the cliff, the zip line allows 2 people to simultaneously cross the cove of the falls, nearly 1,000 feet, to the La Baronne viewpoint. In the winter, snowshoeing and ice climbing are popular activities here. Number 7. Place Royale. Place Royale is one of the oldest and most important spots in Canada. Often considered to be the birthplace of French America, this popular public square showcases the unique and complex history of Quebec and its place in Canada. Much of the original architecture is still intact, so you can see the influence of both British and French colonizers over the centuries. Wander around the cobbled streets of the former market square, originally known as Place du Marché, when the trading space was first established in 1608, snapping endless photographs. Constructed in 1688, the famed stone Notre Dame de Victor's church is here too. Number 8. Cathedral Basilica of Notre de Quebec. Basilique Cathedral Notre Dame de Quebec, as the locals say, is located opposite the City Hall in the historic district of Old Quebec. It's considered the cradle of the Catholic faith in North America. Whether you're a believer or not, it's a must-see site on your Quebec itinerary. Designated as a National Historic Site of Canada for its remarkable architecture, the cathedral is worth a visit both inside and out. The interior ornaments, along with the entirely gold-plated canopy and baldachin, are stunningly beautiful. You can also visit the crypt where the bishops of the diocese and the 4 governors of New France are buried. Number 9. Plains of Abraham. In the early days of Canada's colonization, the French fought ferociously with the British over land claims and the right to take control across the country's east. While the British eventually dominated most of Canada, the province of Quebec remained French, and it is here on the Plains of Abraham where the largest battles were fought. Today, though, the Plains of Abraham is a large city park, similar to Central Park in New York City, and it's a popular place for locals and tourists alike to gather any time of year. You'll find plenty of cycle tracks, cross-country skiing trails, walking paths, and open spaces to enjoy. Number 10. Museum of Civilization. Offering an interesting look into the cultures and communities of Quebec, the Musée de la Civilisation can be found not far from Place Royale, overlooking the St. Lawrence River. Its extensive galleries house collections of artworks, artifacts, and archaeological findings that shine a light on the history of the area. Since its opening in 1988, the museum has been a firm favorite with locals and tourists thanks to its interactive exhibits and innovative architecture. As well as having fascinating sections on the past, present, and future of the province's Indigenous peoples, it also regularly hosts special exhibits and cultural events. Number 11. Parliament Building. Quebec City's Parliament Building is regarded as the most important historical site in the entire province, and this along with its imposing architecture places it firmly on the list of the best Quebec tourist attractions. Its design was inspired by the Louvre, the famous museum in Paris, and it's hard not to be impressed the first time you cast your eyes over it. The Parliament Building is still in active use, and it is the current home to the National Assembly, where all 125 of Quebec's elected members meet. You don't just have to admire it from the outside though. The Parliament Building is open most days for guided tours, taking you through its wings and historic rooms. If you're really interested, you can also sit in on one of the National Assembly parliamentary proceedings. Number 12. Basilica of St Andabopre. Sitting about 22 miles northeast of central Quebec City, this stunning religious site in the small town of St Andabopre was first constructed in 1658. The current structure was built in the 1920s following a fire. The basilica honors Saint and the patron saint of Quebec. Pilgrims travel across the globe to pay their respects to Saint and to benefit from her miraculous healing powers. Legend has it that one of the basilica's original builders began his work on crutches and was able to walk without them upon the construction's completion. Many visitors commemorate this miracle by leaving a crutch at the front door. While the outside of the basilica is a sight to behold, the inside is also breathtaking. The central vault is completely covered in mosaics, while 240 stained glass windows drench the basilica with color. Recent visitors said this gorgeous church is a must-see landmark, and some recommend taking the time to sit and gaze up at the beautiful ceiling. Number 13. Moron Center. This fascinating historic site in Old Québec has worn many hats throughout its history. It was a military prison in the 18th century, a civilian prison from the early to mid-19th century, and the city's first English-language college in the late 19th century. The Literary and Historical Society of Quebec has also called this site home since the late 1800s. The Moron Center has played a crucial role in the development of several historical foundations, including the National Archives of Canada and the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada. Today, the Moron Center acts primarily as an English-language library, granting English speakers access to books in a primarily francophone city. But the Moron Center offers visitors much more than literary stimulation. Guided, hour-long tours take travelers through the facility's history. You'll be able to explore the old jail cells and the Victorian Library, which contains artifacts dating back to the 16th century. Number 14. Place Duville. Every winter the local council turns the Place Duville just outside of the old city into a large outdoor ice skating rink, and doing a few laps around is known as one of the top things to do in Quebec City. It's quite amazing to be doing such a truly Canadian activity right in the heart of a city, surrounded by centuries-old buildings and beautiful lights. You can rent your skates right there by the edge of the rink, or bring your own. Fun for the whole family while visiting Quebec City. Number 15. National Museum of Fine Arts. The National Museum of Fine Arts perch in Battlefields Park means that you can enjoy views of this beloved green space while you peruse the notable works housed within these galleries. The collection is spread across four separate buildings: the Grand Hall, the Charles Baillarge Building, the Gerard Morisset Building, and the Pierre Lassonde Building. The design and historical significance of the first three structures adds to the art viewing experience. For example, the Charles Baillarge Building was the Quebec City prison from 1867 to 1970. You can still tour some of the cells that remain intact, the others have been transformed into galleries. The neoclassical Gerard Morisset Building is the original museum building, home to many of the museum's works. The Pierre Lassonde Building is a stunning gallery dedicated to modern contemporary art. The last word. So guys, these are the best things to do in Quebec City, Canada. Hope you will like it and appreciate it. People who come to this city are amazed by all of the awesome things there are to do and see. The city of Quebec is filled with so much history and architectural beauty, while on the outskirts lie thousands of miles of mountains, waterfalls, and rivers galore. Whatever you want to do, I have listed some of my favorite things to do in Quebec City. This guide will help you experience the best of the best things in the city. So, if you love to travel and you want to see the whole world, then this is the channel that gives you a list of the best places to visit in the world. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for the latest upcoming travel videos. Bye bye, see you in the next video.